Hello, welcome to my tutorial on how to make a deep ribbed hat. These are the items you're going to need. I've got chunky wool, 2 100-gram balls. This one is a Stylecraft special called Pale Rose, which is a lovely gentle pink, which I really like. We have also got a pom-pom maker with sharp scissors, yarn needle, measuring tape, 6.5mm hook for the brim and 7mm hook for the main body of the hat. I'm going to pop these out of the way and get started. We're going to be working in the round, so we need to create a round to work with. To do that, we start with making a slip knot, and I like to make it like this. About 8 inches of yarn, make a diagonal across these two fingers, straight and then diagonal. Squeeze it with this finger here, then you can get your hook and place it under the first one, catch the second one, squeeze these fingers in tight and pull that through, and that's your slip knot ready to go. We're going to make a chain of 4, so yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through, 3, 4. Then I'm going to go into our first chain with the hook, catch the yarn, pull it through, and then you're going to do a slip stitch just by pulling it through that one. Chain 2. So this is actually your first stitch of row 1. Find this space here. You're going to do a double crochet into it, so it's a yarn over into that space, catch a yarn, pull through. You've got 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2. So that's you made your second double crochet. We need 12 of these all together, and you're going to keep wrapping this tail around your chain as you go. So yarn over, through the space, pull through 2, pull through 2. That's number 3. Four, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And to complete the row, you're going to pop your hook through the first and second posts. So I take this first post, second post, so in between, catch a yarn and do a slip stitch and chain 2. And this is what you should have. If you pull the tail tight, you should have 12 stitches. I'm just going to double check. I like to count the posts, so start underneath the chain. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Perfect. This hat will fit an average adult. If you wanted a hat that fits a larger adult, you put 13 stitches here. If you wanted a small adult or an older teenager, put 11 stitches here. We're going with the average, and it's 12 stitches for the average. So row 2, we're going to turn our 12 stitches into 24 stitches. So we're going to increase on every stitch. To do that, we do front post double crochets, and I'll show you how. This is our first stitch, so we're going to double this by going to yarn over, and you're going to go in this post like so and pull the post up towards you. You're going to catch your yarn, pull it through, catch your yarn, pull through 2, catch your yarn, pull through 2. That's a double crochet, but it's round the front post, and that's actually created an increase in the same stitch that you've just done previously. So next one is yarn over, and there's always a stitch that hides in here. You must remember to get that. So it's yarn over in the top of that, and you're catching both sides of the stitch. Pull through a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And now again we're going to do a front post double crochet, so it's yarn over. You're going to catch that post and pull it towards you. Yarn over, pull through, and you've got 3 on your hook. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So you've got double crochet, front post, double crochet, front post. In the top again, through the front post again, and you do this all the way around. Top, front post, top, front post, top, front post, and so on. And I'll see you towards the end of the row. So I'm nearly at the end of my row. Front post crochet on the last stitch, and this time, to seal the row, to close the row, you're going in the top chain just to the right of this post, catch both sides of the stitch, pull through a loop, and then slip stitch like so. 1, 2 chain, just pull my tail tight, and this is what you should have. 12 spokes on your wheel, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, with a stitch in between each spoke. If you haven't got that, you maybe need to pull it back a bit to fix it, but this is what it should look like. So row 3, we're going to increase on every second stitch. We're turning 24 stitches into 36. And to do that, we've got one stitch already here, so our second stitch is actually here. So you're going to go double crochet into the top, and then front post for the increase. The next stitch, you're just doing a double crochet in the top, and then the next stitch, which is the spoke, you're doing your increase. So double crochet in the top, and then front post double crochet underneath. Next stitch is no increase, so it's just a double crochet. Next stitch increase because we're on the spoke, double crochet front post, no increase, increase, front post double crochet. I'm going to work all the way around, increasing every second stitch. I'll see you when we get back round to here. We're coming to the end of row 3 now. So the last increase is here. Front post and you're going to slip stitch into the stitch at the top of this post here, and it creates a nice seam that you can't actually see at the end. It's really lovely. So chain 2, and this is what you should have. You've got your original 12 spokes with 2 stitches in between each spoke. Now make sure you've got that before you move on to row 4. Row 4, we're going to turn our 36 stitches into 72 stitches. So you're going to increase on every single stitch, and you're starting with a front post double crochet on this one here. So yarn over, pick up the post, double crochet, then make sure you catch this hidden stitch here, double crochet in the top, and then round the post, top, and then round the post, top, and round the post. Get some yarn, top, and round the post, and so on. So you're creating the rib now, it's nice and deep and thick. So 1 spoke stitch, 1 spoke stitch, 1 spoke stitch, and so on. So continue all the way round, and I'll meet you back here. Here we are at the end of row 4, just finishing this one off. Last front post double crochet here, and a slip stitch into the top of this chain. And you can see how nice and neat the seam is. This works really well. So I'm going to chain 2, double check your work. Should look like this one, and if you take 2 spokes you should have 5 stitches in between each spoke, so double check that before you go any further. And then move on to row 5. There is no more increasing. We've got 72 stitches, we'll have 72 throughout the rest of the hat. This row you're going to create the deep ribbing, so here we are at the start of row 5. We're going to create the deep ribbing. There's no more increasing. We've got 72 stitches, and it'll stay that way for the rest of the hat. We're going to do front post double crochet in the next stitch, which is the spoke that you've just created, and then a back post double crochet in the next stitch. And to do that is the opposite front row. You're going to come in from the back, catch the next post and push it away from you. You see that there? Catch your yarn, pull through, 3 loops on the hook, pull through 2, pull through 2. That's a back post. Then we're going to do front post, and then another back post. So come through from the back, push the post away, catch your yarn, through 2, through 2, and then front post, post, front post, back post, front post, back post. And that's all there is to this row, all the way around doing front post, back post. Do all the way around to here, and I'll catch you again here. Here we are at the end of row 5. You always finish on a front post double crochet and a slip stitch into the top of the chain. Keep the seam nice and neat. Okay, hopefully it looks like this. There's no more changes to the pattern now. This is the pattern for the rest of the hat. You can just keep going. Front post, back post, front post, back post. And you're going to keep doing this. And then you fold your hat. And you keep going until your work is 10 inches long, or 25 centimeters. Okay, work away with that, and I'll see you when you get there. Now my hat is 25 centimeters, 11 inches long. Hopefully yours looks like this too. And now I need you to change your hook to a slightly smaller 6.5mm hook. You're going to do 1 more inch, 3 more centimeters with a smaller hook, which will give it a nice bit of shaping at the end of the brim. So please go ahead and use this hook until your work is 11 inches or 28 centimeters long, and I'll see you then. My hat is now 28 centimeters long, 11 inches. We're going to change the stitch now to single crochet. We're going to do 2 rows in single crochet. This will give it a lovely professional finish. So still using your 6.5mm hook, you're going to insert it back into your slip stitch. And instead of chain 2, for single crochet it's always chain 1. Okay, now we're going to insert our hook into the stitch just to the left of your chain, at the bottom of the chain. So in that gap there, collect your yarn, pull it through, and you'll have 2 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull it through both loops. Now hook into the next chain space, collect your yarn, pull it through, 2 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2. And the next chain space, collect your yarn, pull it through, 2 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through both loops. Next chain space, collect your yarn, 2 on the hook, yarn over, pull through. And that's what single crochet looks like. I'm going to get you to do 1 row, and I'll catch you just at the end of this row. I'm nearly at the end of this row, so watch carefully how I finish. Single crochet in there. Single crochet in there. And then slip stitch into the top of the chain here. Okay, I want to do 1 more row, so I'm going to 1 chain for the single crochet. Again, you're going into the chain space just to the left of the chain, and start again for the last row of the hat. Nearly there. Nearly at the end of the final row, just show you how I finish it off. One in there, and then a slip stitch into the chain here and pull it through, and you're going to cut your yarn, leave a tail because we need to sew that in, and just pull it through there to fasten it off, and I'll show you how to do that in neatly in a wee while. Okay, so this is your hat. There'll be a nice brim, and how stretchy is that? It's absolutely gorgeous and beautifully soft. So we're going to sew that in and pop a nice pom-pom on the top. Lovely. See you in a bit for the pom-pom. It's time to make the pom-pom now, and I just use one of these plastic pom-pom makers you can get from any yarn store or online. This is an 8 centimetre circumference one, which is a nice size for the hat we're making. So you open up 2 of these green bits, and if you've got 2 balls of wool the same, it's much quicker to use 2 at once. Just a little tip. So you grab the ends and you're going to just start winding them round there, making sure these are nice and even here. Okay, they have to be the same, and just start winding it round. Just like this. And keep going, try and keep it even, almost in rows if you like. And you keep going until this curve in the middle becomes straight. Nearly there, one more round I think. There we go. So, and you close it, and there should be a bit of resistance when you try and close it. And you're going to just trim that there and open up the other side and do exactly the same thing again. Get the ends of your yarn, wrap it round here, make sure these are even, and start winding. I do the first row quite tight to make sure everything's nice and neat and straight, but then the next rows aren't so bad, they're a bit looser. And don't worry about these tails, we'll cut them later. And you're trying to have round about the same amount of wool on this side as the other side. So if you make it nice and straight here again, it should be pretty much the same. Right, I reckon we're there, and it should be some resistance. Perfect. Okay, trim that off there. Now the next thing you need to do is cut some yarn to tie round your pom-pom once you've cut it through with the scissors. So you're looking for about 50 centimetres long, and I want you to cut 6 of these, no, I beg your pardon, 3 of these, because we need 6 ends. And they don't have to be exact, but more or less 50 centimetres. And then just kind of twist them together. Okay, then you need a sharp pair of scissors, or you can get special pom-pom clippers if you wanted to, but I've got a cracking pair of scissors that does the job in no time. So you're going to take your scissors and put them underneath your yarn, there is a gap there, and cut. Notice I'm holding my thumb here, that holds the whole thing together, you don't want it coming loose. Okay, that's one side, so turn it round and do the same thing the other side. Okay, so you've now got this kind of groove here, and you're going to take your 3 lengths of yarn and put them in the groove and push them down. Come to the other side, you're going to tie a knot with all 3 lengths and pull that knot really tight, as tight as you possibly can, and then do another knot really tight. Okay, and then you've got 6 tails, and it's useful at this point just to make them all the same length. That helps when you're sewing it in. So now we're going to pull this out. That's half of your pom-pom. Pull this out for your other half, and then there's 2 white sides. If you get a grip of both sides, pull it out, and this is your pom-pom. Okay, just give it a little fluff out like that, and then we're going to start trimming, because we're going to turn this straggly pom-pom into something beautiful. And you're literally just going to cut, and you're going to cut a little bit shorter than the actual pom-pom is. You want it to be a little bit shorter, and it's worth taking time over this to get it right and make it nice and even all over, so that it looks like as near to a circle as possible, or should I say a sphere or a globe. Now I'm going to just keep working away at this until I'm really happy with it, and you do the same with yours, and I'll see you back here when it's looking beautiful. So here's my pom-pom all made. It's gorgeous. I love pom-poms. I've got my 6 tails hanging ready to be sewn in. This is the inside of the hat, and you'll see the tail right from the beginning. You're going to pull that tight and sew it in before we actually sew the pom-pom on. Okay, and what I do is I pick up some of these first stitches and pull it tight to make sure that stays in, and then I'm going to go down here and catching yarn as I go, going through yarn, and then I'm going to change the direction a couple of times, making sure I go through the yarn with the point of the needle, and changing direction stops it from pulling out later on, which you don't want. So back in here, and maybe another wee change of direction there. Okay, and just cut that off. Nice and neat there. We have a couple of tails to sew in, which I'm going to do at the end. And turn it the right way out. And I want you to have a look at your hat from this direction. Okay, and if you cast your mind back to the beginning, we made 12 spokes. You see? What we're going to do is sew in the 6 tails into every second spoke. And that'll make it nice and sturdy. So if you lay it flat like that, have your pom-pom ready, and just pick up one of the yarns, thread your needle, oops, and you're going to sew it in just on the outside of this circle. I choose that one and just pull it through. And do another one. You're going to miss one spoke and go in the next spoke. Miss one spoke and go in the next spoke. Pull it through. So I'm missing that one and going in that one. Miss one spoke, go in the next spoke. And the last one, number 6, miss one spoke in this one. So now all 6 tails are on the inside of your hat, so just pop your hand in and make sure they're all pulled as far as possible, and then hold on to them and just pull your hat inside out, and this is what you'll see. So you'll have 6 tails showing like this, and what to do is take 2 and tie knots in them really tight as tight as you can pull them without breaking the yarn, and I generally do 3. Okay, so 1, 1 knot, 2 knots, 3, and then the last 2, pull it really tight, 2, 3 knots. Okay, I'm going to get a slightly bigger needle and you're going to sew these in together. And you're going to hide these in amongst your yarn, so just somewhere very nearby, pick up, and you're going to go down through, down here, and then just pick up a few bits of yarn down here. And you don't pull it too tight, else that would show on the outside. You're just going to naturally sit inside there, and then go in a different way from when you come out. Make sure it's a different way back, and just go back up to the top here. Okay. Alright, so that's one. I'm going to do the same with these ones. Kind of pull it apart a wee bit, and it makes it sit nicely inside there. I have to re-thread my needle there, bear with me. And back in a different one than you came out of. And this change of direction prevents it from coming out and adds secureness to the pom-pom. So we're going to just trim that there. One left to do. Give it a little stretch and tie that off, cut that off, and you're left with something that looks like this. It's normal to have a little bump in the bottom from where you've pulled your knots tight, but you can't see where you've sewn in those ends. It's lovely. So there's not much left to do now. We're going to sew in this end, and then we'll be finished. I'm going to trim that a bit because it's a bit long to work with, and put one knot in that, I think, just to secure it. And I think I'll take one end one way and one end t'other. Again, try and go through the yarn. And then a wee change of direction. So I can cut that one off. I always go back in a different one that it came out, otherwise I'll just unravel. Might go a little bit further. Chain that one, and the only one we've got left to do is this one here. I'm going to turn the hat inside out for this. The hat's going to sit like that, so you need to make sure that when you sew this tail in, it's on this side, okay? Now, I'm hoping you can see that there's a direction that this needs to be sewn in. You want to make it look like your chains are going this way. I might loosen this one a wee bit. Yeah, okay. So when you sew in this tail, it needs to be in the same direction that the chains are running anyway, and then it's less likely to be noticed. So I'm going to go this way, and I'm going to go in and up. And can you see how that just looks like another stitch? Okay, I'm just going that side. And just pull it so that it all sits neatly in a row, and then come back out this side, and now we can actually sew it in, because that's lovely and neat. And I'm going to do a little knot here to secure it. And then I'm going to hide it up one of these ribs. And that's sitting nice and neat. And then back in a different place with a change of direction, and find my scissors. And that's all the ends sewn in. And how beautiful does that look? I love it, love it, love it. So, have a little tidy up of the pom-pom, because we've squished it quite a lot in there. So it might need a little bit more trimming until you're completely happy with it. I could spend hours on a pom-pom. I absolutely love them. But if there's the teeniest wee bit sticking out, it annoys me, so. And that is your beautiful ribbed hat. I'm going to turn it that way. There's always a seam, so that's the back of the hat, and this is the front. There. Well done, everyone.